Toes for true crime. 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 Toes for true crime.
Can a gruesome crime trigger a significant change in a state's legislation? In the heart of Idaho, a chilling event unfolded that shook the nation. Brian Coburger, accused of the brutal stabbing of 4 University of Idaho students, found himself in the crosshairs of the state's justice system. This case, laden with horror and mystery, unfolded in parallel with a significant shift in Idaho's capital punishment laws. Idaho, historically known for its conservative leanings, surprised many when Governor Brad Little signed a law that permits execution by firing squad. This law, which came into effect on July 1st, allows for such a method if lethal injection drugs are not available, marking Idaho as the 5th state to permit firing squads. This law was passed around the same time Coburger was standing trial for his alleged crimes. The prosecution, undeterred by the gravity of the case, sought the death penalty. The timing of these two events raises an intriguing question. Could the brutality of the Kohberger case have influenced Idaho's decision to allow death by firing squad? After all, Idaho is a state that prides itself on being tough on crime. The passing of the firing squad law could be seen as a reflection of this stance, but could the shock of the quadruple homicide have pushed the state to adopt such a drastic measure? On one hand, we have a gruesome crime that sent waves of terror across the state. On the other, a law that reintroduces a method of execution not used in the United States since 2010. The convergence of these two events in the timeline is striking. But is it merely a coincidence, or could the heinous act committed by Coburger have triggered a reaction from the state legislature? Our journey into this mystery is only just beginning. As we delve deeper into Idaho's political landscape, law enforcement's role in the Kohberger case, and the potential aftermath, we'll continue to explore this fascinating interplay between crime and punishment. Could the brutality of the Kohberger case have influenced Idaho's decision to allow death by firing squad? Only time and our investigation will tell. How does Idaho's political leaning play into its approach to crime and punishment? As we navigate the murky waters of Idaho's political landscape, it's clear that the state's far-right leanings have a significant influence on its approach to crime and punishment. Idaho, historically a stronghold of conservative values, has seen a noticeable shift towards the far right in recent years. This shift is evident in the state's pride in being tough on crime, a sentiment that resonates with many of its residents. With the passing of the firing squad law, one can't help but notice the state's unabashed commitment to demonstrating its toughness on crime. The law, which allows for execution by firing squad if lethal injection drugs are unavailable, is a testament to the lengths Idaho is willing to go to enforce its staunch stance on crime and punishment. It's a move that has sparked controversy, with critics describing it as extremely disappointing and especially gruesome. Interestingly, this move towards the extreme right isn't confined to the state's approach to crime and punishment. It extends to the political arena as well. The Republican Party in Idaho has been experiencing internal tensions, with a divide growing between the hard right and the far right. Even the governor's seat, once considered a safe bet for the incumbent, is now under threat from more extreme factions within the party. This radicalization of the state's government has implications beyond the political sphere. It's a trend that's seeping into various levels of government, influencing legislation and ultimately shaping the state's approach to justice. This influence is particularly pronounced in the passing of the firing squad law, a move that aligns with the far right's hardline stance on crime and punishment. The political landscape of Idaho, it seems, plays a significant role in shaping its laws and its approach to justice. With the state's shift towards the far right, one can't help but wonder how this will impact the future of crime and punishment in Idaho. Will it lead to more extreme forms of punishment, or will it spark a backlash from those who believe in a more compassionate approach to justice? Only time will tell. Could law enforcement have played a role in the quadruple homicides or in framing Brian Coburger? An audacious question, but in a world where the improbable can become the possible, it's worth exploring. Let's delve into this complex web of possibilities. The idea of law enforcement being involved in such a gruesome act is chilling. But what if there's more to the story? Could there have been a grand scheme at play, one that required a scapegoat to bear the brunt of the crime? Brian Coburger fits that bill perfectly, a man caught in the crosshairs of a murder case and a state's hard stance on crime. Imagine for a moment a scenario where Coburger was either framed or willingly took the fall, aware that he would eventually walk free. A wild supposition, yet not outside the realm of possibility. The primary objective? To avert the eruption of mass riots, similar to the ones witnessed during the George Floyd case and other civil upheavals that rocked the nation. Now, consider the fallout if Coburger is found innocent. The notoriety he would gain would be unspeakable. His name would be on every lip, his story a hot topic for books, talk shows, and podcasts. He would blend back into society, much like Mark Fuhrman did, with an air of infamy surrounding him. While this may grant Coburger a bizarre form of celebrity, it casts a long shadow on the justice system. The crime would remain unsolved, the real culprit hidden behind a veil of deception. Meanwhile, Idaho would continue to uphold its right to execute by firing squad, further cementing its image as a gun-friendly, tough-on-crime state. The implications of law enforcement's involvement could be far-reaching, potentially leading to civil unrest and further legal changes. But as we peel back these layers of conjecture, we're left with more questions than answers. And in this maze of what-ifs, the truth remains elusive. What happens if Bryan Kohberger walks free? Imagine the scenario: a man charged with such a heinous crime, acquitted. His name, forever associated with a brutal quadruple homicide, could paradoxically become a beacon of intrigue and fascination. Just like Mark Fuhrman, Coburger could find himself in the public eye, his story a source of morbid curiosity. His books may fly off the shelves, his talk shows and podcasts could attract an audience hungry for insights into his mind and the circumstances that led to his infamous trial. Yet, this hypothetical future is not without its dark clouds. The potential for civil unrest, reminiscent of the George Floyd protests, looms large. If Coburger were to walk free, the citizens of Moscow, Idaho, and cities nationwide might question the fairness of our justice system. Anger and frustration could spill onto the streets, leading to scenes of turmoil and discord. And what of the unresolved questions surrounding the case and the controversial firing squad law? Could the brutal murder of 4 students have indeed influenced the state's decision to pass such a law? Or was it a mere coincidence, a reflection of Idaho's tough stance on crime? The truth, as it often is, may be elusive, buried under layers of political agendas and public sentiment. Equally perplexing is the role of law enforcement in this case. Could they have had a hand in the crimes, as some suggest? Or is Coburger merely a scapegoat, a convenient figure to blame to avoid mass riots and social upheaval? These questions, for now, remain unanswered, adding to the intrigue and mystery surrounding the case. The potential aftermath of this case could have far-reaching effects, leaving us with more questions than answers. As we continue to delve into this intricate web of crime, justice, and political machinations, we're left wondering, will we ever find the truth? Or will it remain shrouded in the shadows, a chilling reminder of the complexities of our society and the justice system that governs it?